Hey everyone, Jordan here with 9 to 5 Toys. Today we're going to be taking a look at Lenovo's new Mirage AR Marvel Dimension of Heroes. This obviously isn't the first time we've seen the Mirage AR, but this new Marvel Dimension of Heroes adds some new controllers and a new experience to use with your headset. Let's check it out. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. So like I mentioned earlier, this isn't the first time we've seen the Mirage AR headset. Lenovo also came out with a Star Wars experience not too long ago, and that came with a specific lightsaber itself that you would use instead of these controllers. But kind of the cool thing with this new Marvel Dimension of Heroes edition is that you can actually use this controller to play the Star Wars stuff as well. So if you never picked that up, it's kind of like getting the two games in one, which is kind of nice because otherwise this headset is kind of limited. That's pretty much all you can do with it. And with the current $250 price tag, that probably makes it pretty hard to swallow for a lot of people. So let's get into some of the details of the Mirage AR. Being an augmented reality experience, there is a little bit of setup to get going with the Mirage AR. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure you're downloading the app because it's 2 gigabytes. So while it's doing that, you can install the batteries, the included batteries in the controllers. They take AA batteries, and also in the little trackball, it takes AA batteries as well. And then once the app is downloaded, the manual doesn't give very good directions for setting everything up, but the app does a pretty good job of walking you through how to set up and pair the controllers, and also how to place your phone inside of the headset, which has a special little tray in here that you install your phone into and put a cable in, which I'll show you here in a second. So the app kind of walks you through some of that setup. And on Lenovo's website, you will find a compatible list of phones. Obviously, not everything is going to fit in here and work well with this screen. Once you are ready to get it set up though, you take your phone, and there's this little tray that goes in the headset, and you put your phone in here, and you use they come with a variety of cables for whatever kind of device you're using, and you plug in the cable here so you can plug it into your headset. So it sits in there like that. This clamps down on here, and then you can use these little sliders to actually firmly hold it in the tray so that it doesn't move around when you're using it. And then once you have that in there, you take your headset and you slide that tray back in. Like that, and there's a nice firm click, and then you plug your cable into the headset. And then that's it. Your headset is set up and ready to go, and then as long as your controllers are turned on and synced to your phone, then you should be ready to play the Marvel Dimension of Heroes experience. One unfortunate thing about it is that it's really hard to capture and to show you what I'm actually experiencing when I'm using this helmet. There is a feature where you can push a button on the side of the helmet and it will record a little GIF that you can then download to your photo library and you can use later on. But it's a short GIF and it doesn't really show everything that's going on in the app. So then once you do get everything set up and ready to play, make sure you have the controllers. You're holding them the right way, which is like this with the strap kind of on the back of your hand. And the first time I was holding them, I held them like that, and that's obviously not it. Thor's hammer looked really weird when I was trying to use it, so make sure that's strapped like that, and then it gives you free use of your hands as well, which is pretty cool. We have the 2 buttons on here, and then we have the thumbstick that can also be depressed, and then there's a power button up here. And that's pretty much all there is to the controllers. They feel pretty ergonomic. And when you get into the first game, the first thing that I saw when starting up was a tutorial from Doctor Strange about how to play as Thor. And then after finishing the tutorial, you're kind of sent back to this big overall view where you can choose to do some of the different battles for Thor, or you can go down and choose a different superhero that you can play their storyline, or you can go back to the main menu and do survival mode or change some settings, some different things like that. All the different heroes have different storylines that pertain to their, individual story and background. So there's quite a bit to play there. And then obviously with the survival mode, you're just trying to get through and get as long as you can. There's actually a global leaderboard that you can see on Lenovo's website to kind of see where you rank on there, which can be a lot of fun to see where you stack up against the competition. So the gameplay in general, the graphics were, I mean, pretty good for being, cast off of your phone and then reflected out onto this lens. Because it is an AR kind of environment, you want to make sure you're in a dark room. Like even recording here, having the studio light kind of facing me, it was a massive glare where I couldn't see any enemies in that situation. So any kind of bright lights or anything are going to kind of affect the playability. And that's something they suggest in the manual, is to, make sure your brightness is cranked all the way up and make sure that your auto brightness is turned off so your screen doesn't get too dark. And with everything running, with the controllers all set up and synced and everything, it's kind of hard to believe that it's all running that smoothly through your phone. It really is, there's a little bit of input lag as you move around, but it's really not that bad, and pretty incredible what it can do just through your phone with these controllers. Sure, it's not up to the same level of VR immersion as Lenovo's other products like the Oculus Rift S, but I mean, it really does a pretty good job as long as you're in a good environment. It can be a lot of fun. Playing the first few missions as Thor, it did kind of feel like a boxing simulator at some points, because the enemies, they would get close to you. You just felt like, it was a bunch of hand-to-hand combat. Felt like I was just punching and diving and ducking and dodging, and reminded me of, the Wii Sports boxing simulators a little bit. But then there are other abilities you can do as well. You can charge up Thor's hammer and throw it and call it back and, slam the ground and do all those Thor things. And then for a different type of gameplay, playing as Star-Lord, you actually have, two blasters in your hands. So it's a different kind of gameplay because you're shooting with them more constantly. One other thing with the controllers is you can easily recalibrate them to the tracking node. The thumbstick on top here, if you push it down and depress that, it actually recalibrates just to make sure that you're still in sync, which is a good thing to do every now and then because there is a little bit of drift, it feels like, where they start to get a little bit unsynced. It's nothing too crazy, but doing a quick little looking down at it and recalibrate was usually pretty beneficial. And then beyond the story mode and the survival mode, Dimension of Heroes also has local multiplayer, where a couple people with the same headset and game could play together. So because of the nature of the design of this headset, this sits right on your forehead, then your phone is out here, and you have all this stuff out in front. It can get a little front heavy, and I felt like I really had to tighten it down on my head because I didn't want it to flop around, because when you're dodging around, you don't really want your screen flopping around in front of you. And so it did, you would start to notice it after a while. So after playing through multiple battles, I would want to take it off and take a break. It wasn't terrible, but you definitely notice it. So overall, if you are, the ultimate Marvel fan or collector and really want to play as the different heroes, I mean, this, for me, it was a pretty seamless and fun experience. And another cool thing is you can still play the Star Wars Jedi experience with this as well. You don't have the lightsaber, but since you do have the two controllers, you can just use one controller and sync that up in the app, and you have another game in there as well, which I had a lot of fun playing with that one as well. So what do you think of the Lenovo Mirage AR with Dimension of Heroes app? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.